Call That's All Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Here's Emmy Award winner, Homer.
The best 60 minutes of your day, the busy Homer Hour. Rain Man, caller 5, 1-800-990-3776. 15 trivia questions in 2 minutes. Great partners, cousin sub. Even if you stink, you still get a $25 gift card. And you might win the competition, which will run until the end of June. And that is cousin subs for a year, worth about $300. I should keep track of this better than I do. I believe we have 3 that are tied.
It's 4, Homer.
4?
Yes.
Okay. At 7?
Yes.
I want to make it clear to those people, those 4, they cannot compete if you're even tied for the lead, because it could end up that you would be, randomly, we'd be picking the winner. But I'm pretty comfortable to say to those 4 that you can't play now, but somebody's going to break 7 at some point, and then once that person does, then you're all eligible to play again. Again, on the line, cousin subs for a year if you have the highest tally of the 15 questions when we end at the end of June. And also our great partner is Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. And now, as I should have done long ago, a name synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, and doing it well for over 50 years. That's how they can be that good. And a phone number you can remember, Saganiac Planning, 783, that's all you got to remember, 262-783, Roger Maris, 6161.
That number again, 262-783-6161.
Caller 5, you will compete in Rain Man. Then we will have Jason Wilde, and maybe there will be some additional information about Jair Alexander. I kind of doubt it, but certainly worthy of some discussion. And then Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports. We are going to get to the point of learning more and more about the players drafted. Joining us now is Al in Racine. Al, I don't really care anything about you other than your Rain Man resume, past and experience, so people have a heads up on how you might do.
Hey, Homer. Yeah, I played once, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, and I stunk it up.
And
I'm just here for the gift card.
Yeah, you're honest. You got that $25 gift card. We'll decide if this was a waste of our time in addition to yours. The first question, again, is the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question, because Saganiac Planning has been a great partner for Marquette for so many years. The other 14 questions, I won't tell you anything other than that they are sports questions. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go, Homer.
All right. First question, the Saganiac Planning Marquette trivia question. 3, 2, 1, go. What year did Marquette win their national basketball title?
71.
Incorrect. What year did Wisconsin win their national basketball title?
71.
Incorrect. What years did the Bucks win their 2 NBA titles?
2021 and 71.
Correct. How many titles did Bill Russell win in his 13 NBA seasons?
10.
Incorrect. How old is Giannis?
30.
Correct. According to Wikipedia, Giannis's mom specialized in what track and field event?
Hurling.
Incorrect. How old was Giannis when he made his NBA debut?
18.
Correct. This Knicks player led the NBA this season, 37.6 minutes per game.
Brunson.
Incorrect. Wilt Chamberlain in 61-62 led the NBA in minutes per game. Within 2 minutes, how many per game?
44.
Incorrect. What current player averaged over 42 minutes per game for one season? Current player.
LeBron.
Correct. The history of the NBA playoffs, only 2 players averaged 48.75 minutes per game for a season. One actually played some of his career with the Bucks. Name one or either one.
Kareem.
Incorrect. Giannis scored 634 playoff points in 2021. Who holds the record for playoff points in a season? 759.
Steph.
Incorrect. He leads the Brewers with 6 home runs this season.
Cheerio.
Correct. How many walks does Jackson Cheerio have this season? How many walks?
4.
Incorrect. He leads the Brewers with 18 walks this season.
Felix.
Excuse me?
Felix. Sal Felix.
Yeah, no, incorrect. All right, let's see. You did much better. I got 5, Pebble.
I have 5 as well.
All right. Pebble will
Okay,
get at
not too
least
bad.
12. No, you didn't embarrass yourself. But you should have done better. What year did Marquette win their basketball national title?
77?
77. Should have known that. This one, who knows?
Yeah.
What year did Wisconsin win their national basketball
41.
title? 41, correct. You got the Bucks, 71, 2021. You must know this, Al. I've used this question more than any other, don't you think, Pebble?
You have, yes.
How many titles did Bill Russell win in 13 NBA seasons?
11.
11. No,
11.
11 and 13. How old is Giannis? 30. Nicely done. That's appropriate. I actually thought he was older than that. He's 30. He turns 31, I believe, in December or November. According to Wikipedia, because I don't even know if this is true, Giannis's mom specialized in what track and field event?
I have no hurdles.
High jump.
High jump, huh?
Somebody can check on that. We'll ask the Nassus. How old was Giannis when he made his NBA debut? Yes, he was 18. This is tough. This Knicks player led the NBA this season, 37.6 minutes per game.
Josh Hart?
Josh Hart is correct. This one, Al, I did solely so everybody can realize it. How many minutes are in an NBA game?
48.
48.
48. Wilt Chamberlain in 1961-62 led the NBA in minutes per game, 48.52. What's that mean?
Played overtime games?
Had to have some overtime. games.
Overtime.
48. I don't know that he ever came out. LeBron James, yes, the best in any recent years, 42. History of NBA playoffs, only 2 players averaged 48-plus per game for a playoff season. I said one played some of his with the Bucks, and that would be Oscar Robertson.
Is there one Wilt?
Yes, Wilt never did that in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
The reason is he's close, but I'm guessing in a playoff season, he never had enough overtime over the course of a regular season. So he's like 3rd, 4th, 5th. This one you should have got. Giannis scored 634 playoff points in 2021. Who holds the record for points in one playoff season? 759.
Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan, yes.
Oh, jeez.
He leads the Brewers. Yes, sometimes it's easier than you think. He leads the Brewers with 6 home runs this season. You got it right, Cheerio. This is hard to believe. Jackson Cheerio, 132 plate appearances.
He has 0 walks, right?
2!
2 walks.
2! You should have more than 2. Not even trying. And he leads the Brewers with 18 walks this season, 9 times as many.
William Contreras
and Christian Yelich. So, Al, you did okay. You probably should have had 7 or so. But remember this.
I should have got a couple of those. Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain, for a regular season, averaged more than 48 minutes per game. We'll have to look back in 61-62 if he ever actually came out of a game, because he didn't foul out for a long time in his career. And then 13 NBA seasons. How many titles for Bill Russell? Tell us, Al.
11.
11. And everybody notice when Jackson Cheerio starts getting walks. I will say this. He cannot get into the Baseball Hall of Fame with so few walks. There's just no way. Someone can check the baseball player in the Hall of Fame with the fewest number of percentage of walks per plate appearances. Look that up. 2 in 132. That's about the only thing you can say he has to get better at. Al, congratulations. As you correctly said, you get the $25 gift card from Cousin Subs. Everything else is irrelevant, right?
All right. Thanks, Homer.
You bet. Nicely done. 48.52 minutes per game. And a game's only 48 minutes. Jason Wilde, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound on 894, we've got big delays. The right lane is blocked right just past Loomis, all because of a broken down vehicle. So that is what is causing huge delays back through the Hale interchange in all directions. Matter of fact, southbound 894 starts to slow down just south of Greenfield Avenue, all the way down and around the Hale. We've got northbound on 43 still backing up from about Fond du Lac Avenue all the way to Keefe. The southbound side is going to be slow from just south of Hampton all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River crossing. Westbound 94, delays there from about 25th Street all the way through to Mitchell Boulevard. And then on northbound 41, very heavy ride from just before Watertown Plank Road all the way up past Silver Spring. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, becoming cloudy, showers likely with a low of 44. Tomorrow, cloudy with periods of rain, best chance early with a high of 54. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
The people there made it a really great trip. The people in Green Bay were really nice, like literally driving ESPN people around themselves.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
The Pancake Palace in Green Bay was outstanding. So really nice trip.
On 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Take me out to the ball game, roll out the barrel, and get up, get out of here, gone. There's nothing like Milwaukee baseball, and Discount Liquor is here to help you turn your tailgate or game viewing experience into a grand slam. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where since 1960, we've been your one-stop shop for everything alcohol-related. This baseball season, make plans to stop by Discount Liquor, because when the division rivals from Chicago visit, the more booze, the better. With a selection of over 15,000 varieties of beer, wine, liquor, and mixers, all at the lowest prices in town, Discount Liquor has got you covered. We are your one-stop shop this baseball season. Discount Liquor, 2 locations. In Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow in Maine.
Discount Liquor.
The I-94 rivalry is more than just bragging rights. Get to the ballpark for Brewers-Cubs action May 2nd through the 4th and spend Friday and Saturday night under the lights and help the Crew defend American Family Field and the National League Central Crown.
That's your ball game!
Then pack the park for Sunday matinee baseball at the May 4th series finale and take advantage of the Sunday Fun Day bundle. Get your tickets now at Brewers.com.
Buying and selling a home can be a stressful process. Hey, it's Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. The We Sell group at Keller Williams has a goal of making it stress-free for everyone. Their passion is people, their availability is unmatched, something I'm experiencing firsthand while I search for a lake home to enjoy Wisconsin summers even more. Rob and Nick are there every step of the way, not just for their sellers, but also to potential buyers and their agents to bring in as many strong offers as possible. Get started today at wesell.kw.com. That's wesell.kw.com.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
A busy Wednesday. Jason Wilde on assignment. We'll get to him in a second. It's Dame time on Season 4 Behind the Bucks podcast presented by Gallagher. Explore Bucks superstar Damian Lillard's unlikely journey from a 2-star high school prospect to a top 75 player in NBA history. The series, narrated by senior NBA insider Chris Haynes, reveals exclusive details of Dame's trade to the Bucks and experience with the team. Wonder if they've added or are going to add things. I would suspect so. Find Behind the Bucks on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcast, Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and H&R Benefits consultant. Live listening, show replays, exclusive content. It's all on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. Used to be Wisconsin On Demand, not anymore. ESPN Wisconsin app, your state, your teams, your ESPN, the Wisconsin sports fans' best way to stay in touch with their favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows and keep up with their favorite teams. Find the new ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores. Comedians. Again, Jason Wilde on the Packers, momentarily, still on assignment. American Place Casino. I always tell you about how far it is, a half hour south of Franklin. And did I tell you, American Place Casino, a half hour south of Franklin, specifically 38 minutes if you want to be even more specific. Located in Lake County, Illinois. They have great table games, great slot machines. They have a great sports book. And now, comedy shows at the Lighthouse, American Place Casino, hosting 3 comedy shows in May. Brad Upton, Patrick Warburton, and Jay Moore. Jay Moore, I remember, sports guy. And I'm not sure there aren't other people. You really need to go. Tickets for all the shows are available now. Can be purchased online at AmericanPlace.com/entertainment to make sure that all the comedians, there are even more. That's AmericanPlace.com/entertainment. And joining us now is Jason Wilde, no longer on assignment. Good evening, Jason.
Good evening, Homer. How are you?
I am awesome. And how are you, Jason?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. I probably don't do that often enough. All right. This, I'm guessing, is the time where you start researching, want to interview the Packer draft choices, or how far have you gone along in that process? And where's the food chain in terms of your interest in learning more about certain players?
Well, first of all, Patrick Warburton, for those that don't know who that is that you were mentioning, he's the guy who played David Putty on Seinfeld.
Oh.
So if you're a fan of him, I think he's also, maybe he was the pick. I'll have to let Pebble help me out with that. But he's had a very good career. So he might be worth checking out for folks that were listening.
Nicely done.
About.
I wouldn't have thought of you as the comedian assistant.
Yeah, and Jay Moore was the slimy agent that was kind of the villain of Jerry Maguire, the Tom Cruise movie. So, obviously we haven't gotten to talk to any of these guys yet. Friday, Saturday are the 2 access days for the rookie minicamp. So I always look forward to that. It's one of my favorite things of the year. I've certainly been doing my reading about Matthew Golden and Savion Williams and Anthony Belton. I'm kind of working my way one by one and, kind of bookmarking some different stories. And then I'm going to work on the questions I want to ask each of those guys. I mean, obviously, Baron Sorrell was kind of the story of the last day of the draft, but I've barely written anything about Micah Robinson, the 7th-round corner from Tulane, and John Williams, the big offensive tackle from Cincinnati. So I got a lot of guys' stories to still tell, but I'm certainly looking forward to when we get to talk to Matthew Golden. I am obviously a sucker for heartwarming stories, and I want to get more into this idea that his grandmother who raised him had lost her home, and that his first goal with his NFL contract is to buy back the house that was repossessed.
Yeah, well, you need to talk to Matthew privately and say, the guy I work with says, shouldn't you already have enough money to get that done from what you were making?
Yeah, I don't know.
College?
I don't know what his NIL money is or was. I thought the same thing when I heard that quote.
I would go with somewhere between $250,000 to $500,000. But sometimes I guess.
Yeah, but after taxes, I mean, how much is that? Really?
Yes, nicely done. I hope at some point that I say that. After taxes.
That's what I always say about big contracts. After taxes, though, it's really not that much. They're on the hook for $58 million with Dame, but after taxes, it's not that much.
But my premise is that people that want to take care of their family, there are now ways in which that can be done in college. And this is slightly off target, but everybody should know if you want to learn about what's going on, just go over and follow what's occurred in Europe. For example, the famous tennis player Rafael Nadal signed his first shoe contract at the age of 9. 9.
Wow.
Because by the age of 9...
If the world's greatest edutainer had seen you beat that one kid that had never lost, maybe you would have gotten a shoe contract.
No, they had pretty much come to the conclusion. But I mention that because LeBron James probably would have been, I don't know how many millions, before he ever got out of high school. Because I'm sure that was true of
especially if he was in high school in Wisconsin now, based on
you have to
NIL rules
I don't see how you can prevent it anywhere. It's how do you say no?
I don't feel like I'm the guy that always looks back on the good old days and think we'd be better off if we went backwards. And considering the damage you've done to my misconceptions about my guy John Wooden, I understand.
Yeah, that's what everybody would say. Hey, Jason, NIL isn't new. Sam Gilbert, he was the president of NIL.
Nope, or that Blue Chips movie with Nick Nolte punting the ball into the stands with Shaq and Penny and Matt Nover on his roster. But I would say this. I mean, I don't love the idea of this trickling all the way down to high school kids now. Like I feel like, just for example, like Sydney's girls basketball team. There's different kids of different economic backgrounds, but they don't even get to keep their own jerseys. Like they have to turn them in at the end of the season. And I would rather raise money so every kid, regardless of their family's income, can have their jersey. I'm not saying we need to have names on the back and all the other stuff, but I would rather see us focus in on finding ways to fund all sports across all schools than having kids. Like if you have kids that are that special that would be worth considering that, I would love to see that money delved out in a different way. But again, college, I'm totally on board. I just think it needs to be regulated better than it has been. But back to our point, I will ask Matthew Golden that. I'll try and ask it in a private and friendly, nice manner, but I had the exact same thought. So you're not alone.
My fascination of the draft actually starts with Anthony Belton because I am convinced this is Rasheed Walker's last year with the Packers. He will be the starter, but
I'll join that club.
Yeah. And this guy Belton, I don't know. I mean, I defer to Bulai. 6'6", 336. Are there left tackles that big?
Yeah, but there's sure there are, but there are some differing opinions on him too. Like, if you read Dane Brugler, he had him as a 3rd or 4th round pick. And there's anytime the word plodding is used to describe a guy's footwork. Now that doesn't mean he's right? I mean, I think Dane does a great job. He doesn't work for a team, but I think he does a really good job. And I think his stuff is must read going into the draft.
Yeah, now, I mean, I think and that's a good to know.
Joel Bucksbaum was.
Yes. Oh, Joel Bushbaum. Yeah, Bucksbaum.
I always said it Bushbaum too, but then I was corrected by somebody who actually knew him. But my point is that just because he's a 2nd round pick and just because he's gargantuan in size doesn't mean he's good. Right?
Correct. Well, in fact, it makes me think he's more likely to be something other than a left tackle. And there's certainly other things, but that just seems too big. And then if that's the case, if you give me that information, then I might have to rethink and believe that maybe they'd like to keep Rasheed Walker for, maybe a year after this year.
Well, look, here's what's going to happen with Rasheed Walker. He's either going to win the job or lose the job.
He's going to win the job.
Jordan Morgan. Now, I believe he should win the job. But
yes.
Again, I don't know how training camp's going to play out. I also believe that if he plays really well, he will make himself a ton of money. Now, whether that direct deposit comes from the Green Bay Packers,
it will not,
or it comes from a different team.
Yeah.
If he wins the job and plays well, he will have, because he can play. I'm not saying he's Joe Thomas. I'm not even saying he's Chad Clifton, but he is better than he gets credit for. And frankly, I'm not saying that he doesn't need to be pushed or anything like that. But the fact that they have opened after 2 years, after he saved their bacon in 2023, playing at the level he did after Bakhtiari played in one game, I would, if I was him, I'd be pissed, and I'd be very motivated to come. Yeah, I would, because I would say, look, I am not perfect. I am motivated. I'm in a contract year, but the idea to make it sound like I should have to fight for my job, and I understand. The NFL is all about competition, and iron sharpens iron, and all that other stuff.
He knows he's got the job because he knows.
I don't think he
knows he knows what Morgan is and isn't.
Well, I don't know, because Morgan started one game last year. My point is that I think long term, they don't know how they're going to reconfigure this line. I also don't know, as much as Goody said nice things about Elton Jenkins moving to center. He's going to turn 30 this season. We know how we feel in Green Bay about guys that have had their 30th birthday. And he will have one more year after this year left on his contract. I saw Matt Schneidman of The Athletic pointed out in the 154 photographs that were taken by Evan Siegel, the team photographer, at their first workout, that Elton wasn't in any of those pictures either, just like Jair wasn't. We cannot make unsubstantiated leaps and say, maybe he's not there because he's
who's the center if he's
unhappy
not?
with his contract. Jacob Monk,
okay,
I guess, who was a fifth-round pick a year ago. My point is that they could very well, have Jordan Morgan or Anthony Belton as their starting left tackle next year, and then whoever isn't the starting left tackle be one of the guards, right?
Yep.
They paid Aaron Banks, so he's going to be here for at least 2 years.
Yep.
So he's going to be one of the other starting guards, whether it's Elton or Jacob Monk or a draft pick at center in 2026. I mean, the only guy that I think is certain from last year's lineup to be still a starting offensive lineman in 2026 is Zach Tom, who I expect them to pay an extension to.
Yeah, I got Jenkins too.
Yeah, maybe. Look, again, that's another one of my guys. So I'm not trying to rush him out the door. I'm just saying he's getting to an age where Goody doesn't like to pay guys. And
can centers
no matter
play?
How good he is,
can centers generally play to an older age?
Sure, we saw it with Frank Winters. We saw it with. We saw it with Jason Kelsey.
Okay,
that's not uncommon. But again, I don't know. I would love. I do have Elton's number. I've not bothered him yet, but there is part of me that wants to text him to say, "Hey, are you okay? Are you, are you okay with the move to a different spot? Are you okay with playing out your contract as it currently stands? Are you hoping to get an extension this year? What are your, I'd love to know where he's at in terms of those things. But the bottom line is that this draft was not just for helping them in 2025.
Yeah.
It was also with an eye to 2026 and beyond.
Is it made up some question about whether or not the 40 time by Golden was as good, or that's the only one he did that fast? Is that made up, or have you seen anything to that effect? Okay.
I can't say that I've delved into that.
I mean, I don't even know if it's legit. I don't know. We never.
Yeah, I had not seen people questioning it.
Okay.
But again, it's amazing how much happier I am, but also how sometimes things get past me because I spend far less time on Twitter.
Yeah, that's why I asked you, because if it occurred, you wouldn't get it from Twitter. You'd hear from somebody else. I did.
Well, I would have had to get it from somewhere else, for like Twitter, to ask somebody else whether it's true or not, though.
And your peeps, the people you
now
talk
I got
to.
it from you. Now I got it from you, which is just as questionably reliable as others.
No, it has no credit. That one has no credibility whatsoever. The fact that you haven't heard from someone or anything then makes me think that I probably shouldn't.
Well, I doubt anyone from the Packers would reach out to me and say, "Hey, just so you know, turns out Golden's not as fast as we clocked him."
Well, one of my sources said everybody should know, I don't care what the number is, he's not as fast as Watson on the field.
Was it Watson's dad?
No, but excellent question. Yeah, no. But if it was, I would goody you. You know what that means? I'll just lie.
You would lie to me.
Yeah, I support. I like Goody. I don't know him that well. I have no problem with general managers lying on a regular basis. I think it's necessary to serve their interests, which would be the team. Did you, in your research as far as the draft, did you get any input from anybody about Deion's son, who's, I like to refer him to that because that's basically what it is. I know he has a first name, but that gave you there was any discussion, not necessarily good or bad, or just at all? Or is that just not the way you do things and nobody just kind of brought it up?
I had not talked about that with anyone before the draft because the conversations I have with scouts that I know tend to be about guys the Packers might be interested in, or more big picture about positions. So I did not know about that, but I'm not surprised, right? I mean, he's Deion's kid. I can see how you could feel entitled or half-assed in interviews or whatever else it might be. I find that very believable. Again, I also haven't delved into, I know there's been a lot of podcast air taken up with the discussion of whether he was colluded against or blackballed, or if there's a racial angle to this. I would just say the folks that are comparing this to like Colin Kaepernick. I mean, Colin Kaepernick, whether you agree or disagree with him, and I know lots of people disagreed with him, I thought he took a very peaceful approach to making his point. But however you felt about him, he got blackballed for doing something he believed in. I don't think that these two people should be linked in any way. And I don't think there should be a victimhood for the Sanders family. They were victims of that prank call from Jeff Ulbricht's kid, and that wasn't okay.
I can't believe that, and I don't know that family, but I can't believe a kid would do that, given his dad's job.
He's going to be washing his dad's car for a long time.
No, it's just...
No kidding.
No. I can't see how you could do it or get away with it. I mean, if...
Well, he took video of it, so we know he actually did it.
But yes, what's the relationship between his dad? There clearly isn't the same level of fear that I had with my dad. I mean, there are certain things you'd pick, like one associated with his job. I'm not going there. I could die. I don't... Well, that dynamic there, like, I just would want to ask him, how? Didn't you have some fear about giving your dad's work? Well, go ahead.
Maybe he just wants his dad's attention and wants him to come to one of his sporting events once in a while.
Nice. Yes, but wouldn't you be scared to do that, given your dad's employment?
Look, I would say
that's all I'm asking. Would you? I would have been scared to death.
Right. The 53-year-old me thinks that way. The 21-year-old me, maybe I think I'm not going to get caught, right?
All right.
Maybe I think I'm going to get away with it. Maybe I think they'll never be able to figure out it was me. You do some stupid stuff when you're 21 years old, and this obviously was pretty stupid. But again, this is, I don't want to get into a big sociological conversation, but this is also the world we live in, right? Whether it's Halliburton's dad talking to Giannis, or it's a 21-year-old kid thinking, hey, I'm going to do this prank and put it on TikTok. It's going to be awesome. And not thinking it through, like all those things are kind of functions of we're not doing the greatest job of thinking things through before we do them in today's day.
Yes, given the realization that they always used to say your character will be determined by what you do that people don't know about. There is no such thing. Everybody needs to be told from a young age, everything you do will be noticed. Everything you do will be seen. And so just be aware of that. And whatever you choose to do, understand that. How do you know that?
Yeah.
I just think accept that, because that's what's available to people. And that's what amazes me, that most everybody knows that, don't they? Right?
It's like Tim Van Vooren taught me many, many years ago when I was doing the Packers Blitz TV program with him and Mickey Leach. Always act like
Legendary.
The microphone is on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Mickey Leach, another one of those people that you meet that you just know, this is a Hall of Fame person at what they do and who they are. And most people have no idea who we're talking about, and I don't care. I just...
Outstanding photojournalist for WITI TV6.
And I just wasted 30 seconds of their life because they'll probably never hear of him again. So what? All right, thanks, Jason.
I think Mickey will appreciate it. All right, Homer, take care. Be good.
You bet. He mentioned Tim Van Vooren, not next, but soon.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Looks like we got a new issue on 894 southbound at Oklahoma Avenue. The right shoulder is blocked with a crash. So watch out for the delays coming in from about Lincoln all the way down past that point, all the way down and around the Hale onto 894 eastbound. Eastbound 94 is backed up out of the zoo all the way to 35th Street, back on the brakes all the way to about 13th. Got the westbound side slowing from 25th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound 43, that crash at Fond du Lac Avenue finally got cleared. We do have delays, though, still from Capitol Drive down through the Marquette all the way to the KK River. On the northbound side, slowing from just before Fond du Lac Avenue up to Keefe. Tee off at Lake Lawn Resort's Majestic Oaks Golf Course. 18 holes, lakeside in Delavan. Whether you're a pro or just starting, it's the perfect course. Book your tee time today at lakelawnresort.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight becoming cloudy, showers likely with a low of 44. Tomorrow cloudy with periods of rain, a high of 54. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Harry Douglas.
There was no excitement like I seen with other draft picks that they had acquired and picked during the NFL draft. But I will say this, when it comes to Shedeur Sanders being in Cleveland, it is the best situation because we know their quarterback position is not secured and sold up. The head scratcher is when they also take Dylan Gabriel in the third round. And I'm thinking about a Kevin Stefanski offense, and I was confused. Like, I really am. And a lot of people say it's a good thing to have that many quarterbacks. Well, you still have Deshaun Watson. You have Joe Flacco. You also have Kenny Pickett that you acquired. You have Dylan Gabriel and now Shedeur Sanders. And someone said if you have to have 5 quarterbacks competing for a starting job, that tells me as a front office, you don't know how to judge the position correctly.
Something amazing is happening. Despite a citywide blackout, this company is still up and running. That's because CDW deployed and managed a cost-effective Eaton Trip Light Series Smart Pro UPS to safeguard equipment easily and reliably. Keep the power on and protect your IT equipment from electrical challenges. Trip Light by Eaton and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/triplight.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen 1 too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
As clutch of a player to ever play basketball.
It's game time on Season 4 of Behind the Bucks on Bucks Plus.
This year I was like, I need to impose myself more on this team.
Explore Damian Lillard's journey to becoming a top 75 player in NBA history.
That's what really had me feeling like this is going to be great.
Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and H&R benefits consultant. Find Bucks Plus on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Who's looking for a better deal? Well, Cousin Sub's $10 meal deals just got better. Available online only. Order your 7.5-inch meal deal today and upgrade it with a large fountain beverage, large fry, regular shake, or regular Wisconsin cheese curds. Prices vary by item from $1 to $2 a piece. Make it better and make it your own way. Now that's a better deal. For further details or to order, go to cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better. Available online at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
Rain Man is brought to you by Cousin Subs. The 2-foot party subs are back for a limited time. Order ham and provolone turkey or the Italian special. Cousin Subs, they believe in better. You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Kansas City, here I come. Kansas City.
The Buck season is over. That was a poorly played last minute of the game, even for an 8th grade team. Hard to do. I made the comparison to the Seattle Packer loss. Not that it was as important, but it was as unbelievable. There's no way. Up 7, I said it's over. There's no way they can mess this up. And they, just like the Seattle game, had to do multiple things wrong, every one of them, in order to lose. Discount Liquor Twitter poll question: if you could talk to Giannis, what would you tell him? Please stay with the Bucks, 39%. Do whatever you want, 28%. That's what I said. I understand if you leave, 28%, or live by your contract. That would mean he's with the Bucks 2 more years. That's at 5.5%. Leading right now, please stay with the Bucks. We might have time for a little extra with Tim Van Vooren. That'll be good. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Hey Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra at 90's 2K Cafe Milwaukee, Champs Lake Geneva, McGillicuddy's Milwaukee, Kelly's Bleachers Wind Lake, and Magoo's on the Mound Milwaukee. Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Attend Biz Expo May 13th at Brookfield Conference Center and the keynote on resilient leadership, thriving in challenging times. Stay for the strategy seminars and connect with customers. Biz Expo is May 13th. Register at biztimes.com/bizexpo.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Save big money now on pre-finished siding at Menards. Update and beautify your home with your choice of 13 timeless colors of pre-finished LP Smart Side engineered siding. It's durable and includes a Sherwin-Williams machine-applied paint warranty that means no painting for years to come. Save big money today on all LP Smart Side products. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Make plans to stop by 3rd Ward Beer Garden at Catalano Square. Experience Milwaukee's favorite beer garden. The perfect spot to meet up with friends before a night out. Open Wednesday through Sunday with live music Thursday through Saturday. Good times and great vibes await at 3rd Ward Beer Garden.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No limit. Pay no interest until 2030, plus $500 off your home improvement project. Restrictions apply. Call 414-410-2000.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Wherever you are in Wisconsin, there's a free and confidential Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, or Tribal Partner Agency. We're here for older adults, adults with disabilities, and your families. ADRCs are a bridge to support for benefits and financial assistance, transportation, in-home care, and more. Get to know your local ADRC and connect with resources today. Call toll-free 1-844-WIS-ADRC or go to findmyadrc.org. Paid for by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. The 3 most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Vooren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports, 3-time Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year, Hall of Fame wingman. So many questions to ask. And now I'm curious, TVV, of all that's available out there as far as information you can pass along, what do you want to start with?
Oh, man. You got to start with the Bucks, right? You got to start with the Bucks.
Okay. And how do you want to start?
Was it Giannis's last game for the Bucks homer?
I tried to help people all season long, saying you need to go because this could be his last year. I am at the risk of being too positive. I just don't think Giannis can say it, and I'm hoping that he will give the Bucks one more year. Some of the young players, I don't think the team will be as bad as maybe thought. They have massive limitations, but I probably should say I hope that Giannis would give him one more year. But everybody should understand, anybody assessing the situation would tell Giannis to ask to move on.
Massive limitations, Homer. That's well put. I heard Rick Bucher, he used to be on ESPN, now he's on various other platforms. His thought was Orlando, Houston, or Oklahoma City. You, as the Bucks, go to Giannis and say, these are the 3 teams that are you away from a championship, Giannis. They have young assets that they can restart our rebuild, and it is just time.
Orlando, Oklahoma City, what was the third one?
And Houston.
Yeah, I can tell you this, what I would tell Giannis. I don't care what the Bucks tell me. If I were you, I'd want to go play for the Knicks. There's no place better. And I'm from Indiana. The New York fans are crazier basketball fans than people I grew up with in Indiana. And they haven't won a title since the Old Testament. And it'll be the greatest experience in your life. There's no way to even compare what it's like to play for the Bucks as it is to play at Madison Square Garden for the Knicks.
So that's if he asks for the trade.
Yes.
And so he's asking for a destination then.
That's what I would do if I was Giannis, but, I mean, that's just garbage. It comes down to the Bucks wanting to do. But my hope is to say, Giannis, you're only 30. Give us 1 year. That's it. 1 year with this new young team.
Would you hold anything against him if he sought a trade now?
That'd be like being mad at Mr. Rogers if he moved out of the neighborhood. I mean, what did Tony Smith say last night? What do you say? Thank you. Shut up. No, it's impossible. We're also lucky to have been around him and experienced this incredible player, an incredible person. I don't know how. I mean, if you're a huge Bucks fan, maybe I can get it, but I don't. And he won a championship. Mm-hmm. TVV, everybody wants more, but one is enough because you've lived it. Imagine a Brewers fans. I think of that. Never. You have memories of the Packers or the Bucks. You don't need many, but you need one.
Mm-hmm.
And he's given that to us. And people should be forever grateful for what he's done and how he's been. Just give us one more year, Giannis. Come on. Let's see what you can do with the kids.
Marquette still celebrates 1977 home.
Yes.
It's different when you win it all.
Yeah.
And, even Giannis last night in his comments about the John Halliburton situation, I've won a championship, they haven't. It's a distinguisher. It's a differentiator.
Yeah. And so he's in the club.
Right.
And then, it's just, I don't know. You're around him. I've never spent that much time with him, but you just observe him. And how can you do better? I mean, you tell me this, TVV. How can you be mad at Giannis? How?
Yeah, I don't think you could. I mean, Milwaukeeans are always going to want their players to want to be in Milwaukee. And I don't think that changes. I think every Bucks fan would want him to stay. If he is not here next season, I don't see you could have any ill will toward him, whether he requested the trade or whatever the circumstance was. Do you?
Let me ask you this question.
Okay,
I have
a question for you.
I don't see how the Bucks can have 1% of thought that we have to trade him. I don't. From a business. Giannis.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree. If Giannis doesn't want to go and you trade, absolutely not. If Giannis doesn't seek a trade, absolutely not.
Yes.
My question for you is, what do you make of the timing of the John Horst extension, given the Giannis circumstance? Any coordination? Any connection?
You can't ask me a question that I was going to ask you, because it's tied into my belief that, Horst didn't want Griffin as the coach. He wanted Nick Nurse, or he wanted the guy who's with Cleveland,
Kenny Atkinson.
And I can't prove that, but I believe that Giannis wanted Griffin, and that's why Griffin became the coach. And it was at a time where he hadn't signed the contract, so I can understand what the Bucks did. But so I don't know. I know this: he badly wanted to get out and go to Detroit, but he didn't get the job. And I would guess that he's shocked that he got the extension. But I don't.
He's left now to deal with the massive limitations as you described them, whether Giannis is here or not, and they are massive limitations.
Yeah, but I liked what I saw last night. I mean, Bobby Portis probably isn't going to be back, but Giannis, just give us a year. But I can't. But what would be the wise thing for him to do?
The problem with what you saw last night is, Damian Lillard, $30+ million, still sits on you next year with, let's face it, you can't be expecting anything from him. So those guys last night, as gritty as they possibly could have been, had 40+ minutes.
Yeah.
How do you supplement?
I got to find some people that can play a few minutes so they don't have to play that much. But I don't think, to be honest, TVV, you would have thought that would work as well as it did.
I agree. I agree. Absolutely. Commend the effort in that game. Commend the 8-game winning streak at the end of the regular season. And granted, you can say that Minnesota win was a little fluky with a huge comeback. And, if it's a 4-game winning streak, it doesn't stand out. I get all that. But they played a different style of game down the stretch in the regular season. And last night was awesome. But Gary Trent Jr. was also just unconscious in making shots in the one game they won and in the one game they were competitive in the series, and then unconscious in his turnovers in the overtime.
Yeah, I want Trent back. I want Porter back. I want Green back. Portis probably not. I mean, Kuzma, find somebody else's problem and swap. Lopez done. And Sims, there seems to be the possibility of something there. They're better as a group than I thought, and yes, it's very little that can be done. You're picking up crumbs. You got to find some good crumbs, but that's what I would sell to Giannis, and I don't think it's totally made up, but it's weak.
Well, and you have to factor this in. Giannis had perhaps the best individual season of his career.
Yep.
And, are you going to get that again? Is it even fair to, expect him approaching that again? They were awesome last night, and Giannis was with them. I mean, I don't that young core isn't too awesome without Giannis.
No, they stink without Giannis. Of course, they need Giannis, but I mean, he saw it, and it'd be nice. I felt like Tony Smith. Giannis, he's driven right every time and gotten a layup. Okay, if that was an 8th grade team and Giannis was my star, I'd go like, Giannis, what are you thinking? This is 8th grade stuff.
You can't overplay the way you play. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, no, and it's like
you gotta go the other way.
That's about telling somebody to put their shoes on. But all right, we haven't addressed the Packers. Anything you want to say?
Well, the city of Green Bay and the NFL and the Packers A+ on the draft.
Oh yes, unbelievable.
The roster for the Green Bay Packers, I'm going to go B+. I liked the draft. I think it's a tenet that you need big people in the NFL today, but I also think it's a tenet and you got to rush the passer. So we'll see if what they have improves or comes along.
And I can't wait till when the Tim Van Vooren scouting bureau comes out and you tell us who you like. You don't do that until you see him play, right?
Yep, that's true, and I look forward to rookie orientation this week, and that's not the same as seeing him play, but, you start the process.
I didn't ask you about Jair because I really don't think anything's changed.
Nor do I. No updates. Go to Brian Goodicooks.
Weekly wagers next. Take the Lakers, give whatever the points is. Lakers winning big tonight. Blame me if I'm wrong. TVV, Tim Van Vooren, Fox 6 Sports. Does he have a podcast? He needs a podcast. Do you have a podcast?
Not regularly.
Oh.
Not regularly, Homer.
You want me to work on that or not really?
I know my place. Place. Weekly visits with Homer.
All right. I'll take that as I'm going to work on it. I got to get Bulaga into the transfer portal to play college football again and get you a podcast. And yes, I don't expect you to do it unless I come with money. Weekly wager. Next. Yep.
Things are actually moving along pretty well considering the bypass has eased up nicely. Just a little bit of a tight squeeze right through the Hale interchange from